Hey guys, welcome back to Crypto Clan. Today we'll be talking about insights in regards to how central banks will use Quant's overledger and what this means for QNT tokens. Central banks around the world are making advancements in the research and development of central bank digital currencies. The development of this new payment infrastructure will see central banks and government bodies being able to utilize cbdc's to actualize and improve payment services in a nation and across the world. Despite central banks looking into developments surrounding CBDCs, CBDCs will likely be built on varying legacy or blockchain infrastructure. Differences in network services between CBDCs will likely see limitations in the ability for interoperability between different national CBDCs. This could lead to CBDCs being limited in the ability to be a linchpin in financial marketplaces. The innate limitations associated with CBDC infrastructure will require an overarching platform to provide connectivity between such networks. The only technology on the marketplace which can provide interoperability between networks of varying nature is Quant Network. Quant Network is a closed source technology which requires a license to access the technological innovations the platform provides, namely overledger and Quant's multi-ledger token. These technological innovations are further protected by a number of patents. This will ensure that other DLT projects on the marketplace are unable to replicate innovations using the same technological methodology. Quant's overledger will provide the potential to seamlessly exchange digital assets and datasets between ordinarily inoperable networks, be it DLT or legacy. Overledger's ability to seamlessly connect varying networks will provide the potential for future innately inoperable CBDCs to seamlessly connect, and thus providing the potential to induce cross-CBDC implementation to support cross-border exchanges when different central banks are using different ledger technologies. The utility of Quant Network requires the need for licensing fees to be paid to the Quant treasury in the form of QNT tokens. Licensing fees attached to the use of Quant Network's technological innovations is pegged to the US dollar. The following clip from Quant CEO Gilbert Verdian breaks down the pricing structure linked to the use of Quant.
How many QNT are needed to hold up to put up a gateway? How does it work?
Yes, so we've done it in a different way and fixed it to a dollar value just because of the fluctuations. You can't prices fluctuate, as we've all seen in the markets today. And so what is going to be released when the overledger network is released is the pricing and how much you have to put up and stake for licenses, and then the transaction fees and how much you have to put into the payment channels and pre-funds or whatever. So all of that will be, if it's like, let's just pick a number. If it's like $100, then it'll be $100 worth of QNT. If that means it's 1 QNT or 0.1 QNT or 1,000 QNT, it'll stay the same dollar value to keep it consistent and easy.
Mm-hmm. QNT tokens used to purchase the annual licensing fees will be locked in the Quant treasury for 12 months. This factor will lead to the depreciation of the circulating supply of QNT tokens. Developers, in this case central banks, will have access to Quant Network. QNT tokens used to purchase the annual licensing fees will be locked in the Quant treasury for 12 months. This factor will lead to the depreciation of the circulating supply of QNT tokens. After the expiration of the annual licensing fee, users will have to renew the license to have access to the network. This will lead to QNT tokens being locked up for a further 12 months. The locking and release of QNT tokens upon the expiration and renewal of licensing fees will lead to the creation of a yearly demand for QNT tokens. The licensing fee protocol associated with the active usage of Quant Network and its abundant technological innovations, namely overledger, will lead to central banks invariably needing to pay licensing fees to use overledger. The following clip from Gilbert Verdian indicates how central banks will need to pay licensing fees to use overledger.
He asks, does this mean a central bank that will use the overledger will pay in QNT? Is it a joke?
That's a good question. So thank you for the question, Alexei. So what we're doing is providing the rails, the network infrastructure to be able to transact. If the application running on the overledger network is a CBDC, then it has the same rules as the network. You have to pay the transaction fees in QNT, the license fees to be able to do that. It really depends if they use it. So I would love to see central banks using the overledger network. It'll be a great testament to the technology, and there's a lot of interest in this space. And what we'd love to bring is interoperable payments around the world onto the overledger network, so you can transact cross borders without having the limitations of the existing system. So if that's the case, we'd love to have that on there.
With the need for universal interoperability between CBDCs and the abundant level of transactions which will invariably arise through CBDCs, central banks may have to pay hefty fees to gain access to Overledger and Quant's multi-ledger token to ultimately facilitate the cross-conversion of national CBDCs. The potential for central banks to purchase licensing fees to access Quant network may induce the economic principle of Gresham's law. Gresham's law is a monetary principle stating that bad money drives out good. For example, if there are two forms of commodity money in circulation, which are accepted by law as having similar face value, the more valuable commodity will gradually disappear from circulation. The realization of Gresham's law may be observed in the case of Quant, whereby, with central banks potentially purchasing QNT tokens to gain access to Quant network, QNT tokens will become more scarce on the open market, and thus leading to the gradual disappearance of QNT from circulation. Coupled with QNT becoming more scarce, QNT tokens will invariably increase in value, and with QNT having a maximum supply of just 14 million, the potential store value characteristic linked to QNT will become actualized. What are your thoughts on Quant? Do you think central banks will utilize Quant? Let us know your views in the comments below. Thank you for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, subscribe and click on the notification bell. Let us know your views in the comments below. Thank you for watching and we'll see you in the next video.